Hi guys, this is Katie Burns with Live Well, and we're also filming on my Facebook page, Katie Burns Live Well, live today. So hi guys, everybody on Facebook. And we had a viewer request this week to make healthy football party food. Really difficult to come up with, but I have some options for you guys today, and we're just gonna get started. It's a little bit less planned this time because I was gonna film outside and then allergies struck, if you're wondering why I have a bit of a different tone today. And so I decided, let's cook, let's answer this viewer question, and hope you guys will hang with us. So I went to Piggly Wiggly this morning and said, all right, Pig, we gotta cook some food. It's gonna be healthy party food, and they really helped me out, so thank you guys. We're gonna have zucchini boats today. Got this recipe from my mother-in-law, Gayanne Burns, this morning. I've never tried it, but she says that her and Dad loved it, and so I'm gonna go with that. And I'm also gonna do baked chicken wings. Yes, because what does everybody want for football party food? Fried chicken wings. But we don't want to do that because that's just going to really up your calories. You're going to have a little bit more calories with chicken wings because of the skin to meat ratio, but you're better off with this choice than frying them. And I don't know if you can see this or not. We've got a lot of steam going on here because I have a pot of boiling salted water, and we're gonna blanch some vegetables. This is my favorite way to eat vegetables. I can't eat them raw, or I don't really care for it. Just a little too dry for me. So we picked up this bag of already chopped up vegetables. It's broccoli, cauliflower, and carrots, and it's pre-washed. Bonus. So we just pour the bag in there. And I have 2 bags. I don't know if we'll get to both bags today. And we just let them cook for a few minutes. There was a lot in there, so it may take a little bit longer than that. We want the color to really brighten and for the vegetable to get crisp. And then when we say blanched, what we mean is we're gonna throw it in an ice bath. This just shocks the vegetable, and they say hallelujah, and then we do too when we're eating it. And we're gonna let that cook. I also have, if you guys are struggling with allergies at home, like I am, which I don't usually have allergies this time of the year, I don't know what happened. I have here a nice cup of hot water, lemon, and just a little bit of honey. You guys know I'm a big honey fan. So this is a great thing to sip on throughout the day if you're feeling kind of congested. It's good, really helpful. So, other party food that you're gonna want to have out. Look at this beautiful yellow bell pepper that I picked up this morning. You just slice this up and eat this. It's like little snacks. You don't have to do anything fancy with it. And grapes, always nice to have sitting out. I think I've mentioned before, but I'll say it again. A lot of people really like to put grapes in the freezer and eat them as dessert. I don't like to chew cold things, but my husband does, and so that's an option instead of like turning to the ice cream or chocolate. And so let's check on this. I'm gonna need a spoon. You guys, like I said, you know, a viewer wrote in, asked me to do this. I do want to remind you, you can write in to me on Facebook, or I have an email address, livewell@bledsoe.net. So these vegetables, I'm just gonna give them just a little bit longer. Also kind of mixed in today while I'm cooking and while we have some extra time that these things, you know, take, I do want to talk a little bit about grief, kind of explain the grieving process and just some things that I think will be helpful for you to know. That just kind of got put on my heart this morning. I got a phone call that, you know, our dear friends, Martha and Roger Seaver, her mother, Marie Nipper, passed away. And I was just at her 90th birthday party, not this past weekend, but the weekend before that. So it's a hard time, and I know the Collier family, Miss Myrtle Wright, you know, she's been struggling too. So, you know, it's just a lot of grief kind of around us, and just our daily grief of hardships that come our way. And we need to know how to rise up, how to be strong and grieve and honor that, but also not let it defeat us. So we'll be talking a little bit about that throughout the show. Okay, guys. These are looking really pretty. My spoon. Okay. I don't know if the camera can get, my lovely camera crew can get, see this is a nice bright green color? That's what you want. And it even makes it more appealing for the youth to eat this. And these are big doctor favorites right here. They like to recommend that you eat cauliflower and broccoli. At least they've always recommended it to me. And I'm in a doctor family, as you guys well know. So we just take a slotted spoon. If you have a bigger one, they make nice fancy ones. That'll cut down on your fishing expedition here. But you know, regular spoon works just fine. Don't let that stop you. Fishing out these carrots is a bit of a hunt and find, but it's working out. And we just let those cool off, and then we're gonna drain them on a paper towel. I'm gonna turn that off. I'm gonna quit fishing. I have a massive towel here. And just take it off the heat. Now, let's try out this zucchini recipe. I think most people are familiar with zucchini boats as putting in some sort of ground beef or ground turkey in them, and that is certainly an option to add to this dish. We're focusing today on a meatless option. That was shocking. Can't believe this has happened. I'm going to hear about this later from home. Okay. So what the recipe calls for is, if you see me looking, it's because I've not done this before, so I don't know it by heart. 3/4 cup panko breadcrumbs. I don't know where my measuring cup. Oh, here they are. I've talked about panko before, but in case you weren't involved, here you go. Panko breadcrumbs. They do have breadcrumbs available for purchase that have stuff mixed in for you. Just get the plain breadcrumbs. It's going to cut down on your salt too. So 3/4 cup. 1, 2. I'm not. This calls for 6 zucchinis, and I didn't chop them all up. So I'm going to cut back a little bit, and then a 1/2 cup of. This is Italian 5 cheese. It calls for Parmesan, but you guys know I have a hard time following rules. And this looked good. They did have Parmesan in the store, but I wanted to try this instead. You know, sometimes you can be adventurous when you're cooking. You can't when you're baking. That's really a rule following situation. You don't want to get crafty with that. I'm using my hands. Making about a 1/2 cup. And then, oh, it wants some herbs. So I went out to my garden. That's where we were going to film this morning. I was going to show you my garden. It's not as pretty as when you first tuned in the first episode. Like I said, you know, when you're wanting to de-stress in life, you need to pull those weeds. And I would have done that today, but my allergies said no. Might not have been able to talk to you guys after that. So I want you to julienne the basil. But hey, we're short on time, so I'm just kind of mincing it with my hands. And this is purple basil, or they sometimes call it Thai basil. You can use the regular sweet basil that you guys are probably more familiar with, if you'd like, and just throw some of that in there. Some parsley, again, tearing it. If we were professional, I'm sure I would have chopped this up better. But, you know, that's just sometimes how things go when you got to get food on the table. Progress, not perfection. And we're going to add, but they want a nice tablespoon of each of those, in case you're writing this down. We're going to add a little bit of salt, like it looks like a teaspoon. Hey, let's put some on these too. I think these need to be coated. There's a little bit of olive oil in here so they don't burn. Flip them over. Get the back side of those too, because some of your flavors back there. Salt, my cardiac patients, blood pressure issues. Just leave it off. Don't need to do that. Turn them over. Okay. You know what? Actually, we're going to follow the recipe on this because it says to have them skin side up and to bake these for 10 minutes. To my little bowl over here where I've been adding the breadcrumbs, the cheese, the herbs, the salt, we're also going to throw in a little bit of pepper. Hey. How about a half a teaspoon of that, a little bit more if you want. And for your glue, to make everything happy, drizzle in a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. So, if you can see, this is our little mixture. Isn't it pretty? It's pretty with the herbs. Let's see if we need more glue for our zucchini boats. I want more glue. Add another tablespoon. Really, you just want everything to be that you can combine it so that you can set this on top. Okay, that's looking, see, it even looks pretty mixed up. But let's get these in the oven so that they can go ahead and start to cook for 10 minutes. Ooh, hot. Somebody watch the time for me on that because I don't have a timer. Okay, so we have our vegetables. They're in the cold water and we really should pull them out. Not we. Get a paper towel and a plate. And you just set this out on a really nice tray. And I want you guys to resist the urge to offer these with ranch. No. Now, I am sure that you can Google and find some lovely recipes to make a fake ranch with Greek yogurt and buttermilk and herbs, salt and pepper. I've made it before. Just taste, kind of combine them if you've got to have something to dip. But I really feel like that's just all in your mind. You do not have to dip. It's something you've been trained to do. It's something you've seen. It's how people serve you food, but you don't have to do it. Give this a try first. Eat it plain. You can squeeze a little bit of lemon on top. Here we have some. Oh, gives it a nice fresh flavor. You can even add a little bit of salt if you have to. But these are going to be just so delicious by themselves. Great to pack for a snack. Yeah, you've got extra work in here. You've got some time on your hands to do this. But remember, you guys, this was not planned for today. I went to the Piggly Wiggly. I whipped this out. I didn't even have to cut it up. And if it makes vegetables more appealing for people to eat, then it's worth the effort. You're worth the effort to take the time to make this food so that you'll eat it. I know you always think, oh, I'm worth going to get, a blizzard, but that's not gonna help you. So, but look, pretty, and they just dry, and they'll be ready. I could eat them right now, but I'm filming, so I'm not gonna do that. Okay, so now the zucchini's cooking. I have a pot of hot water going here still, because if we get some time, we might make some potatoes. If not, we'll roll into the next episode and we'll continue with our football party food and continue mentioning a little bit about grief. But I know I need to get these in the oven. We're gonna pretend we've got a football game later this evening, which we don't. I should say, glad I remember this. that my family on one side is go Vols, UT, big supporters. My other side, my sister-in-law Sarah and Matt Bernard, he played baseball for Alabama and she swam for Alabama. So they're big Roll Tide fans. I am right now, I'm not gonna say anything about what side I'm from because I'm afraid that you guys will start emailing me. But I do support their interest in their football. And both, I think, are doing really well right now. Does anybody know any of my film crew? I think they're doing really well. I think UT just won big at Bristol. I did see part of that game. Okay, chicken wings. Here you guys go. Picked up this morning. You just lay them out. Aluminum foil. Spray some olive oil on there. I did the same thing with my zucchini that I put in. Now we're gonna need some pepper. Always salt and pepper. I think that I do that on everything, just about everything. I guess I didn't pepper my vegetables. Just a nice little thing. And y'all, if you wanna kick this up and make these hot wings, just add some hot sauce on there. You'll be okay. And we're gonna need salt. Hope that pepper didn't make me sneeze. I'll have to edit that out. And I just sprinkle it on top, like so. If I was Rachel Ray, I'd throw this over my shoulder, but hey, I don't think she's cleaning the floor. I have to clean the floor, so I'm not gonna do that. And what else do we wanna add to it? Okay, garlic powder. I don't know if you guys have picked up on this or not. I like garlic. If you don't, leave it off. Now, let's jazz it up a bit. You know that always when they serve hot wings, there's celery on the side, which you can very well do the thing with that. But instead, we're gonna use some celery seed. Ooh, sprinkle, sprinkle. There you go, kick it up with that. And paprika, you want that golden color? You're like, yeah, these almost look the same, but they're not quite. Paprika, I did the same thing with that baked chicken episode that y'all watched, where I was cooking with Miss Jessica Austin at her lovely home. And then, I mean, usually I use my hands, but I'll be pretty today and paint this on with a nice little brush. If you don't, get your hands dirty in there and just grease it up a little bit. This is just so they don't burn. Now, if you want to make barbecue chicken wings, you're more than welcome to do that. You're going to add the barbecue, about five or so minutes at the end, because if you add the barbecue now, it's just going to burn. It's going to stink up your kitchen. You don't want to do that. Okay, so that's painted. Now we're going to have to do the other side. See if I can find some tongs in here. Yes. Okay. If you don't want to get your hands dirty, because you're filming on TV, then you just flip with your tongs. These are really nice wings here. And you're going to get a lot more meat per wing. Just like when I said bake your own chicken, you're going to get a lot more this way. I mean, when have you had a fried chicken wing this big? I don't know. I hadn't. And I do like chicken wings. They are one of my foods that I occasionally indulge in. That's why I like to remind you, when we were grocery shopping with Greta Van Winkle at Piggly Wiggly, she was like, in moderation, and that's right, in moderation, guys. But football comes around every weekend, and so suddenly it becomes not moderation when you're eating like that every weekend. Try this pepper thing again. You were just doing the same combination on both sides. Paprika. And I'm actually not going to paint this side because while I normally spray Pam, and I told you guys to spray Pam or on olive oil spray, Pam doesn't pay me, I didn't have any here. So I just rubbed a little bit of olive oil in the base. So that means that this side is coated in olive oil and I don't have to flip it. Run. think that's good. I think they're ready to go. Oh, our zucchini boats are doing well. You know what I need? I need oven mitts. And we can put them in for 25 minutes. Really, you're just looking to make sure that drumstick of that part is cooked. So we're gonna let that cook a little bit longer. On my 10 minutes, how am I somebody on my zucchini boats? I'm getting really close, just 2 minutes away. So in that time, you guys wanna talk about grief? I know this is a really winning topic, but a lot of people don't know. My staff is eating my food. I think that's a good sign. Okay, so what I want to first talk about, let's just get the basics down of the stages of grief. And I give the same lecture at the Chattanooga Lifestyle Center to my cardiac patients where they're coming in for a stress. And what I start with is the stages of grief, because they haven't been informed that they may now be experiencing the stages of grief after a heart issue, or really anybody after spending time in the hospital, they have something physically that goes wrong. What happens is you are going to grieve the health that you thought you had. And it's hard to transition, it's hard to do new things and to fathom a different lifestyle. So I tell them the stages. First stage is denial. Now let me tell you how this is going to look, okay? Because the situation is so overwhelming, or perhaps your brain is having a hard time processing it, you're just going to step back a little bit and say, whoa, everything's fine, I'm going to be okay. I don't really need to make any changes. I don't need to cut out salt, just a little stint. That's just how you're processing it. And also, your family members may go through this too. Okay, so they're trying to process the stages of grief also, because they're sad that you're having a health issue. So you have to understand that caretakers as well and people that love you are having a hard time. That was my 10 minutes time, so I need to pull out my zucchini boats. So that's gonna give me a moment, but stage 2 is anger. Was just pausing for a moment because my lovely helpers were trying to help me out with my timing. Let's get these out. Woo! Boy, these oven mitts don't work very well, but I'm okay. Let's see how we can flip these over. Ooh, they look pretty. This is gonna be fun. I think my husband's gonna be happy. Hey, honey, this is what we're having for dinner. Okay, let's fill it up. I bet y'all we're gonna run into episode 2. So you guys on Facebook Live, I'll be coming back in a little bit. If you still have time to sit and hang with me and watch. If not, you'll be able to watch it on repeat on my Facebook page. So don't worry, you got other things to do. Okay, so I'm just spooning this mixture in, if you're wondering what I'm doing now. Just a nice little coating on top. It doesn't have to be a lot. Oh, and the calories on this are not bad either. I think it's like 180 calories per serving, so that's a really good option. I'm gonna have to find some different oven mitts because that wasn't working. And they're gonna go back into the oven for 12 to 15 minutes. So again, 425, 10 minutes on the skin side up, flip them over, add your center stuff, your center goodness, stick them back in the oven for another 12 to 15 minutes, just depending on your oven. That's why you get a lot of those differential times because nothing's exact when you're talking about the variations in the oven. So I think what we're gonna have to do, guys, is we're gonna come back. For those of you watching Live Well today, thank you very much, channel 18. And we'll be talking about the rest of the chicken, the zucchini boats. You get to see how they turned out. And I'm gonna make my potatoes for you. And we'll continue to talk about grief I think it's a lot of good information that will help you out long term. So I want to thank you for tuning in, and I hope that this week you will take time to live well. Thanks.